Hello, dear friends. If you are watching this in the time that it is being recorded, we are out of the seasonal gatherings for the holiday and well into the new year. And although the holidays can be a beautiful time of reflection and even enjoyable gatherings with our loved ones, there's also additional shopping, activities, preparation, and various things that can leave us feeling depleted. I'm Dr. Sarah, and today I want to talk to you about recovering from the emotional holiday hangover symptoms. There's four common ones that I want to review today and talk to you about how essential oils can aid you in recovering from what is known as the lingering emotional holiday hangover. What we're going to discuss is the triggers for emotional holiday hangover symptoms, the four post-holiday health symptoms that I see most often in my practice, essential oils that will help relieve each of these four common symptoms. And even if you aren't post-holiday, if you have the symptoms of excessive stress, lack of sleep, lack of energy, low focus, or digestive distress, this video will be for you. And as always, all the references, the resources, and the links to anything that I mention in this video will be available in the accompanying article. So be sure to head over to my website to check that out if you want more information. First of all, what is an emotional holiday hangover? This refers to the lingering emotional challenge that people can face after the holidays. Here are some of the common triggers that many of you probably can relate to: stress in general, financial strain, family dynamics, loneliness, unmet expectations of the holidays, various things that cause fatigue, nostalgic reflections over the past year, which can cause emotional upheaval if you haven't dealt with that or if you have regrets, seasonal affective disorder, which is a type of depression or low mood that can occur in the winter time for certain people, and just post-holiday letdown. Now, these factors can result in various emotional and physical symptoms. So what I want to do in this video is just go over four of the most common ones that I see in my practice and some of the solutions that we can use using essential oil, and I'll also throw in a couple of tips of lifestyle practices as well. So let's get started. First of all, the four most common ones that I see in my practice are people that are feeling even more stressed out than usual. Their sleep is being affected, lack of it, or poor quality. They are feeling more fatigued. They're having a hard time focusing. And I kind of clump those together, fatigue and focus issues, because if you don't have enough physical energy, you probably likely don't also have a lot of brain energy and vice versa. And then, of course, digestive issues, because there's a gut and a brain link. So I found that essential oils, especially in conjunction with different lifestyle, naturopathic, and functional medicine approaches, really can help these four common symptoms. And what I'm going to do is go over the most common essential oils that I recommend and also give you a little bit of an insight in how I think about which ones to choose, even under each category. So it's not just like this essential oil for this, but there's nuance there when you're dealing with clinical situations and individualized people, right? You're trying to get a more personalized approach with these essential oils. So, for example, feeling more stressed out. Now, this is common even not on days that are post holiday or even during the holidays. Many people are stressed, unfortunately, throughout the calendar year. And when our bodies and minds are always in a state of fight and flight, they can't really relax and recover and rejuvenate. And this can lead to a vast array of different symptoms. But essential oils are great for actually mitigating the stress response because they intercept at the level of the cause, which is our mind's perception of it. They can actually alter the brain's interpretation of the stressful signals because we're pausing, we're taking a deep breath, we're inhaling these aromatic molecules, which actually support the nervous system to relax and to cause the brain to get out of that fight and flight state and to move into more of a, what we say, the prefrontal cortex or executive planning state. We're not acting out of emergency. Essential oils also simultaneously will balance the hormone milieu, which can get off balance when our nervous system is off. So we talked about how they soothe this limbic brain. They also modulate the vagal tone, so our vagus nerve, which is responsible for our rest and digest. processes on a majority of the time. There's also some additional sympathetic fibers that come into the vagus nerve, but let's just talk about the majority of vagal tone is getting calmed by essential oils, calming the nervous system. They help support neuroplasticity in the brain as well, which contributes to improved behavioral response patterns. So if we have better response patterns, this will also decrease our stress. I talked about them influencing hormones, and they affect the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So perhaps you've heard about this. This is how the endocrine system or our reproductive system communicates with our brain. And essential oils do this through modulating the actual stress hormone cortisol, other hormones, and also mitigating any inflammation in the nervous system and helping to regulate our neurotransmitters. So this is why essential oils are actually top notch for modulating our stress response. There's specific essential oils that I will use for stress related to specific conditions. So let me kind of demonstrate what I mean by that. So if the stress causes hormonal imbalances or hormone imbalances and mood imbalances cause more stress, one of the essential oils I will use is clary sage because this is very calming and it can help modulate that stress response and also support hormone balance. If somebody's just more of an anxious type and they have a hard time relaxing, I'll think of lavender. If someone has a lot of nervous system tension and low mood, and they also might have some cardiovascular symptoms to go along with that, I'll think of bergamot oil. If someone is getting a lot of physical symptoms such as blood sugar dysregulation and just other problems related to the stress, there's a stress relief blend I really love for that. And then in order to calm down the nervous system tone, to help the vagus nerve, most of my clients, I just put on the parasympathetic blend because I think everybody can use some more vagal tone modulation. And I just have them rub that behind their ears on the mastoid bone to help stimulate the vagus nerve. There is a link in the accompanying article if you want to see more what is in these different blends that I suggest. So that's the first thing, and those are the first oils for emotional hangovers or just for stress. We talked about clary sage, lavender, bergamot, the stress relief blend, and the parasympathetic blend. Now let's talk about poor sleep. This can get a little bit complex because there's different root causes of why people are having a hard time falling asleep. Perhaps stress is one of them, which is where you want to look at the essential oils I just discussed. But the reason why sleep is so important is because it's a time when your body needs to recharge, to heal, detoxify, to balance your blood sugar, to aid your metabolism, restore your energy. If you don't get enough sleep, it actually affects everything else. It affects your cognition, your focus, your energy, your performance at work or school, your immune system, and your whole cellular metabolism. So what I will do is I will consider what could be some of the problems why someone is having a poor quality sleep. For example, if they're waking up in the middle of the night or have a hard time falling asleep, that could be stress, could also be blood sugar dysregulation. So I'll look at cinnamon oil or perhaps the pancreas blend to help with that. If maybe they're also waking up in the middle of the night around 3 a.m., around liver time, I'm going to think of maybe perhaps there's detoxification compromise. There's many oils that aid detoxification because they help with inflammation, they're natural antioxidants, and they have other properties that help to stimulate cellular metabolism and help our body better deal with different toxins. Some examples that I like to use are clove, rosemary, lemongrass, lemon, or any citrus oils. These can be helpful. If you want to learn more about how essential oils specifically help detoxify the bodies and other oils, again, there'll be a link in the accompanying article, so go ahead and check that out. If someone is going through maybe perimenopause or menopause and different hormonal symptoms are keeping them awake, I'll think of hormonal oils such as geranium, clary sage, lavender, neroli rose, or bergamot, some of the stress oils that I mentioned. Stress, we talked again about that. So those would be another reason maybe why someone can't fall asleep. I'll look into that. Also want to look into lifestyle factors. I did a post on 11 tips for optimizing sleep. So things such as turning down the lights at nighttime, to make sure that we're not on our devices right around by the time we fall asleep, to make sure that we're doing regular relaxing rituals so that we're not just going to bed wound up. These are different tips that, again, you can access in the accompanying article if you think that perhaps maybe that's one of the things that could help you fall asleep, is if you kind of dialed in these lifestyle factors. And then there's just people that are off schedule. Maybe the holidays threw you off. You're going to bed later, you're going to bed earlier, you're just not waking up at the right time. There's a wonderful blend called circadian rhythm blend that I use in these situations to kind of help the brain and the body reset. And because essential oils work at the cellular level as well as on the endocrine level, this essential oil blend has been very helpful for people who struggle with getting their sleep back just at the right times. So sleep is a second factor, and we talked about oils for blood sugar, detoxification, hormone stress, dealing with lifestyle factors, and circadian imbalance. Now, what about low energy and poor focus? When we get stressed, it depletes our energy, and it can also deplete our brain power, right? Because we're doing all these constant thinking, it can throw off our blood sugar, all of this stuff is happening. So the cool thing about essential oils is they modulate our hormones and brain signaling patterns, they shift our brain electrical activity, and they protect the nervous system because they're antioxidants and have anti-inflammatory properties. So all this is great for the brain. And they also enhance our metabolic functions because they act at cellular receptors. Some of my favorite essential oils, just in general, to help with energy and focus include rosemary, sage. Those are two of perhaps the most well-known and studied essential oils for memory are rosemary and sage. And then jasmine, citrus oils, and peppermint. Peppermint is very energizing. I love to use that when I'm having a hard time focus because I'm tired. Citrus oils can help with mood issues or just focus issues in general, and they're great for kids. So though that is related to focus and energy issues that you might be having as an emotional holiday hangover, or just in general, that maybe perhaps you struggle with them. And then digestive issues. We know that when we experience emotional stress, it impacts the gut, creates biochemical shifts in our whole system, which in the gut can lead to impaired absorption, altering the gut immune response, and damaging the intestinal lining, causing this leaky gut, which impacts our immune system and overall metabolic health. On the other hand, if we already have stomach issues, this can cause emotional distress because it changes the way that our belly bugs and the metabolites that they produce are made, and this alters neurotransmitters and signaling compounds from the gut to the brain through that vagus nerve. It can cause inflammation in the gut. Inflammation in the gut can go systemic, resulting in neuroinflammation or inflammation in the brain, which again alters our cognition and causes other mood imbalances. And then just in general, if we're stressed out in the gut, that signals to the brain that we're stressed out, or of the stress cascade to occur. So again, there's like this feed forward symptom. The cool thing is essential oils can act at the level of the mind and the gut at the same time. Some of the most popular essential oils that I think about for gut issues is if there's a gut brain imbalance, some of that emotional imbalance, low energy, and irritable bowel syndrome, I'll think of peppermint oil. Peppermint oil has, I would say, an impressive amount of meta-analysis, which is a compile of studies that, not just one study, but a compilation of studies that show that peppermint oil is helpful for IBS symptoms. If somebody's nauseous or they have a lot of inflammation, not just in their gut, but in the rest of their body, I'll think of ginger oil. If someone is just having a lot of discomfort and gas, I'll think of fennel oil. And it's kind of, they used fennel oil for colicky babies. So it also works for adults, I found. And then just irritability, inflammation in the gut, kind of more subtle symptoms, I'll think of frankincense and myrrh oil. And the cool thing about essential oils is we don't have to worry just because they're antimicrobial that they're going to upset the belly bugs. From the research I've done in animal studies and some small clinical trials, the essential oils actually help our microbiome and help our belly bugs. They also have immune modulating effects. They're anti-inflammatory in action, and they help our intestinal mucosa or that leaky gut. There's specific essential oils that do that. Birch oil, cardamom, cypress, and a really strange sounding oil that you might not be familiar with, and I'm probably not going to pronounce correctly, Nargomotha oil. And there's a specific intestinal mucosa blend that I will use with my clients that say struggle with some autoimmune issues, because a lot of times leaky gut is a factor in that, or just a lot of stress, because we know stress kind of eats away at the gut lining. I will use this intestinal mucosa blend or suggest that for them. Again, the link will be in the accompanying article if you want to get your hands on that or just to learn more about it and see if you have essential oils similar to that blend. So, if we summarize all of this emotional hangover, post stress symptoms that we can have, we know that the holidays are a wonderful time. We also know they're a stressful time and that there's a lot of triggers that can deplete the body and the brain and lead to lingering symptoms. And we know that essential oils can reinstate our balance and refresh us so that we can move on into the new year with more vigor. And they positively influence our physiology and our mood. They can help us recover from stress, promote more peaceful sleep, enhance our energy and focus, and tame our upset tummies. And I went through specific ones for each of these conditions, as well as some personalized approaches if you have different reasons for why your sleep is upset, your energy and focus is low, or why your tummy is not tamed. So I hope you find this information useful. I know I went through a lot rather quickly, so be sure to click on the link to get to the accompanying article. All of this information is written down for you, and there's more information if you want it. I want to wish you a very beautiful and rejuvenating new year. I hope that you take the time to refresh, reset, find your inner truth, and go inward. There's a lot of external noise out there about what we should be doing for our health, but please use this information that resonates with you and find and tune into what's best for your body and help balance them with essential oils. And then you will find the right path for yourself. I urge you to do this. You deserve it, and you deserve what's best for yourself, not based on what you should do. So I wish you many blessings, and please do subscribe to this channel and also to my newsletter. I post and send out things that aren't necessarily on my social media or on my blog, so you want to make sure you're subscribed and also hear about any upcoming programs. I will talk to you again real soon.